Did you know this candy is made from windmill propellers? Today, I'm gonna be taking you through some wild secrets about gummy bears. Okay, before we get into the secrets, if somebody can correctly tell us how many times my face appear on gummy bears in this episode, we'll pin your comment to the top. Let's get into it. Secret number 1. Have you ever wondered who invented gummy bears? The answer stares you right in the face every time you go to the grocery store. Haribo. You know those gummies in the gold bag? They were the company that invented the candy way back in 1922, which was originally inspired by Turkish Delight candy. Have you ever had one of those? Me neither. Which brings us to our second secret. Now, why a bear? Why not a penguin or Thor's hammer? There's so many shapes a gummy can be. Well, since they were invented in Germany, gold bag remember, they were based on a popular form of German entertainment, dancing bears. Live bears were trained to dance and would travel around the country to the delight of German children everywhere. Now, of course, this would just be considered animal abuse, so we just eat them as gummy candy. But the bear was just the first fun shape of gummy. The actual first gummy candies are two that might ring a bell: Chuckles and Jujubes. Chuckles were invented a year before the gummy bear, and Jujubes the year before that. And you can still buy both of those candies today. Also, Jujubes are really good at ripping the fillings out of your teeth. So what was the first flavor or color of bear? Well, it was goldish, hence the name Gold Bears and the gold bags, and likely it was just sugar flavored, which you can still order through some gummy companies today. It's called no flavor, no color gummy, which I in fact have right here. How's it smell? Terrible. How's it taste? A little like bone and skin, but we'll get to that in a bit. Ugh. Now today, Haribo sells over 1,000 different types of gummy flavors and shapes worldwide. And if you're curious to try them all, you can be like this guy from Newfoundland who tried to collect and eat them all. He made it up to 100 different kinds. I'm sure he was collecting gummy bears instead of paychecks. Now, not all Haribo gummy bears were met with gushing reviews. Recently, they put out a sugar-free version that gave some people issues. Like this viral review from an Amazon customer that ends with, "The only place these godforsaken hell bears belong are buried deep below the Earth's surface." Not a fan. Now it's time for the dark secrets of gummy. The gummy bear almost didn't make it as a candy past the 1930s. Why? Because the owner, Hans Riegel of Bonn, Haribo, died, and his two sons were imprisoned in America for fighting for Germany during World War II. And after they were released, the company thrived, churning out more candy than ever. Flash forward to the year 2000, when they were accused of using forced labor to work on the gummy bears during the war. Yikes. Other big companies were named along with Haribo, like shoemaker Adidas. Their response? Haribo and Adidas denied using labor from concentration camps. But how did they make all those gummy bears with so few employees? Okay, I promise our next secrets will be way more fun. These next 3 are all about famous people and their beloved gummy candy. First up, this German genius whose favorite candy was said to be the gummy bear had an IQ of 160 and a rare disorder called uncombable hair syndrome. Give up? The man himself, Albert Einstein. Next up is a famous pop singer. She got her stage name from a song by Queen. La Gaga Ga. Lady Gaga loves gummy bears backstage. She even references them in the video Marry the Night.
She ordered gummy bears and a knife a couple hours ago.
Gaga, you've done the meat dress. Do a gummy dress. We'll hook you up. Last, several celebs have a sweet and boozy tooth for rosé gummy bears from a company called Sugarfina. Now these gummy bears are made from real rosé wine and cost about $9 for a handful. And when they first came out, they were so popular there was a waiting list of about 14,000 people for them. Included in that, Jimmy Fallon and Chrissy Teigen. All right, now this next batch of secrets is all about how gummy treats are made. And stay tuned because you might be very surprised at the source of most gummy candy. Now the name gummy or gummy, depending on where you're located, geographic secret, originates from the ingredient gum arabic, which is a sap made from some trees like the Sengalia Senegal, located in some tropical regions. Now, while most candy makers no longer use gum arabic, they do use gelatin. And some might be surprised to know that this ingredient comes from the skin and bones of cows and pigs, which is also how footballs used to be made. Now here's a pack of gummy footballs, and here's a pack of gummy footballs. Of course, not all are made with random animal parts. A Haribo factory in Turkey actually makes halal gummy bears. Jelly Belly makes vegan bears. And did you know that Sour Patch Kids are also vegan?
Darn kids these days.
Sour Patch Dad doesn't approve. However, perhaps the most intriguing gummy bear recipe was created by a team at Michigan State University. Now, while wind farms produce clean energy, the fiberglass blades are actually bad for the environment. So they created a new type of blade that can be recycled into bottles, countertops, and even gummy bears. They were able to extract the food-grade potassium lactate from the blades and make the sweet treat. And speaking of gummy bears and science, there's a few pretty cool experiments you can do with gummy bears. Now, one recently trending experiment that you've probably seen around the internet involves making gummy bears bigger. By soaking gummy bears in water, they will grow to over twice their size. And if soaked in salt water, they shrink. How? Osmosis. Now, if we all saw the 2001 film Osmosis Jones, we probably already knew that. Now, possibly the most dangerous experiment you can do with a gummy bear is the gummy bear fireball. If you combine a gummy bear with potassium chlorate, a very surprising thing happens. The decomposition of the potassium reacts with the sugar in the gummy bear, and that's one way to burn calories. Now, that's a few secrets about edible gummy bears, but what about the non-edible ones? Do you know the name of the very first Disney animated series? Nope, it's not Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, and it certainly wasn't Marvel. It was The Adventures of the Gummy Bears. CEO Michael Eisner actually came up with the idea because his son was so obsessed with the candy. In fact, it is credited as starting serialized children's cartoons, and this was the show's theme song. Speaking of songs, here's one I bet your ears never tire of.
Oh, I'm a gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. Oh, I'm a yummy, tummy, funny, lucky gummy bear.
The Gummy Bear song, which has over 3 billion views and was inspired not by the candy, but by a flirtatious woman who told the creator Christian Snyder,
"Ooh, you're my gummy bear."
to which he replied, "I'm your gummy bear." One of the most famous lines in the cult classic film Ferris Bueller's Day Off came after the movie was over when actress Polly DuPont offered up this unique recipe.
Gummy bear? They've been in my pocket. They're real warm and soft.
So if this world is so obsessed with the sweet treat, how big of an industry is gummy? Well, in 2022 alone, the non-chocolate chewy candy segment, as is known in the biz, sold $4.8 billion worth of sweets. That's 3 billion bags or buckets or pockets or however you get your gummy candy. And not surprisingly, 80% of those sales were right here in America. And while the original Haribo is still the best-selling gummy bear in America, Sour Patch Kids claim the top-selling non-gelatin-based candy around. And that weird loose pack of gummy bears at the truck stop, it's still there.
Get in there nice and deep like.
Now, what flavor would you guess this gummy bear to be? Well, if you said green apple, you would be right, if you were in Germany. But here in the US, Haribo green bears are actually strawberry flavored. Maybe it's a very unripe strawberry? Now, what's your favorite gummy flavor? Pineapple? Cherry? Blue raspberry? How about melt your face off cinnamon? A bear made by Flamethrower Candy, and also sold by VAT19.com, is rated at 9 million Scoville units. And if you're wondering, what could that bear do to someone? Look no further than Odessa, Texas, where a teen stole the spicy bear and decided to eat it before leaving the store. The 16-year-old proceeded to curl up in a ball and later puke his guts out. The store decided he had learned his lesson and they didn't press charges. Once again, you can buy that bear at VAT19.com. Now, of course, this video is all about gummy bear secrets, but you can make gummy into any shape, and pretty big shapes at that. Just like they did at Sheba, an Iranian candy company where they made a 2,673-pound gummy dolphin. Why? To raise awareness of the protection of these beautiful animals. Which I want to eat now? And who was the runner-up to that giant gummy dolphin? I think it might have been the VAT19 Gummy Rocket Pop. Now here's a list of some other interesting shapes you can get gummy in. Gummy eggs, gummy chicken feet, human hearts. Ugh. The human gummy heart. Gummy earwax, which is pictured here inside someone's ear, because that's marketing. Of course, the most popular shape after the bear? the gummy worm. But here's a surprising secret. The gummy worm wasn't brought to the United States until after 1981 by another German brand, the Trolley Company.
Want to try one of my worms?
In fact, many US school classes would try gummy worms as a way to study German culture. Now, I would have preferred to drive a BMW as a way to study German culture, but to each their own. Now let's get back to the bear for one final fact. Recently, one crazy individual glued over 100,000 gummy bears to their Tesla for a YouTube video. And while the final result looked cool, the owner had to shell out $5,000 to get the bears removed. But you won't find that part of the story anywhere but right here on The Secret Show.
Hey! I told you not to tell anybody about that!
Because I know the guy. All right, did you find all my faces on the bears? Put in the comments. I gotta go!
Dude!
That19.com